above all the men which were upon the face of the earth. And Yahweh spake suddenly unto Moses.
He was so humble. He was the most humble man on earth. In other words, every question they asked him about, he didn't, even though Yahweh made Moses a god unto the people, and Aaron was his prophet, every time the people asked Moses something, he went and asked Yahweh. He never presumed to know everything. He never presumed to just be a know-it-all and say, well, since Yahweh put me over you and he made me a god to you, this is what I say. This is how I think it should be run. He never did that. Any question they asked Moses, well, let me see what Yahweh said. Well, how about voting for Brother Abaka for president? Moses, can we do that? Well, let's see what Yahweh said. Well, how about us uniting with people that serve a false god? Well, let's see what Yahweh has to say about it. Any question they asked him, he prefaced it with, what did Yah say about it? Because Yah told him to put all his trust in him. And that's what he did. In every situation, he was able to go and present an answer from the mouth of the Most High. He was not presumptuous. He did not assume that he knew and gonna follow his course of action because he's a leader. He never led the people in a direction that was not spelled out by the Most High. And Yahweh loved him and said was the most meekest man on the earth. And
verse 4, and Yahweh spake suddenly unto Moses, and unto Aaron, and unto Miriam, come out ye three, unto the tabernacle of the congregation. And they three came out. And Yahweh came down in the pillar of the cloud, and stood in the door of the tabernacle.
Hold it. Oh, we got too much talking upstairs. Too much talking upstairs. Either y'all have to come downstairs. Will you please have them there? They're making too much noise up there, sir. They're disturbing.
5. And Yahweh came down in the pillar of the cloud, and stood in the door of the tabernacle, and called Aaron and Miriam.
I thought Yahweh was just a spirit. But here, the New Testament said, JC said, nobody has heard the voice of Yahweh or seen his shape at any time. Is that what it says? Now hold that page, because I'm going to make JC out of a liar right fast. Hold that page and go to the book of St. John, the 5th chapter. Is that what we want? Yes. It is, huh? Yes. We're going to go to St. John, the 5th chapter, to see if we can believe in the New Testament at all. Or are we going to see as the New Testament a total contradiction to the words of the Most High himself? Now, according to St. John, the 5th chapter, the 37th verse, is that what I want? Yes, sir. It says,
and the Father himself,
and the Father himself,
which hath sent me,
said JC,
hath borne witness of
he
me.
has borne witness of me.
Ye have neither heard his voice.
You have neither heard his voice.
At any time.
At any time. How many times? At any time.
Nor seen his shape.
Nor seen his shape. There's other places when he said God is a spirit. And then the other place where God is invisible. The invisible, immortal God. Where Yah said he's not invisible. Now getting back to the book of Numbers, the 12th chapter, what verse are we leaving off at?
Verse 5.
Verse 5, it says,
and Yahweh came down in the pillar of the cloud.
And Yahweh came down in the pillar of the cloud and did what?
And stood.
And stood.
In the door of the tabernacle.
How can a spirit stand? And stood at the door of the tabernacle.
And called Aaron and Miriam. And they both came forth. And he said, hear now my words. If there be a prophet amongst you, I, Yahweh, will make myself known unto him.
If there be a prophet amongst you, I, Yahweh, will make myself known unto him.
In a vision.
In a vision.
and will speak unto him
and I will speak to him.
in a dream.
I will speak to him in a dream.
My servant Moses is not so.
My servant Moses is not so. With him,
Who is faithful in all my
who
house.
is faithful in all of my house,
With him will I speak mouth to mouth.
to him will I speak mouth to mouth. That means Yahweh has a mouth. Other than that, how can he speak mouth to mouth? With him will I speak mouth to mouth,
Even apparently
and not in dark sentences,
in the similitude of Yahweh.
and in similitude of Yahweh shall he behold. So it wasn't that no. Yahweh was I heard a voice, oh, Moses. It wasn't no dark sentences. It was mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark sentences. And the similitude of Yahweh shall he behold. He's seen the Most High, which JC has never done, which no one in the New Testament has never done. And according to JC, nobody has ever even heard his voice. So when you read those three places that a voice said, this is my beloved son, JC said that voice was not Yahweh. Said nobody ever heard Yahweh's voice. Keep reading.
Wherefore then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? And the anger of Yahweh was kindled,
The anger of Yahweh was kindled.
and he departed. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle. And behold,
This is what Yahweh never wanted you to forget. And behold,
Miriam became leprous,
she became leopards,
white as snow.
white as snow. Now, if you go to a paint store and say, I want some white paint, they say, what kind of paint? You got 8 different kind of white paints. You got on white, off white, egg white, white on white, cream white, eggshell white. What kind of? You just what kind of white, sir? You just don't say give me no white paint. But one thing all the whites have in common, they're all white. They're all white. And and the white man himself said, we white people. Said, we the white man, this restaurant for whites only. This restroom for whites only. Then when we nailed him to the cross, well, I'm not white. You got it. I'm colored now. But then why don't you use the colored bathroom? That was for the colored people. What do colored people mean? People of color. You said you're not people of color. You said you're white man. Then all of a sudden you're going to say that you're not white. But on this thing you said the internet was invented by white people, you said.
Right.
Now, I thought you was mud not white. That's what you call a false balance. Where's that little? He wasn't white, but then he say he's white. Here it is. If white people is cursed, do not use internet. Internet was made by smart white people. Bus and cars were made by white people. I thought you wasn't white then. When you just say this with me, Mac, then you shouldn't be offended. Then I was just talking about somebody that didn't exist if no white people exist. You understand? You can't have it both ways. Either you're white or you're colored. Now, right back and say this was visible, all these things were invented by colored people. Then we can agree with you. Keep reading.
Verse 10, and the cloud departed from off the tabernacle. And behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous.
She was leprous.
And Aaron said unto Moses, Alas,
At last, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not the sin upon us where we have sinned and where we have done foolishly. Let her not be as
one dead,
of whom the flesh is half consumed
when he cometh out of his mother's womb.
when he cometh out from his mother's womb. Don't let him be like that. In other words, some people in history were born already with their flesh half consumed, when they come out of the mother's womb.